Some people say that Chinese military weapons lack practical combat experience. Does the equipment work? Some even question whether the People's Liberation Army has not fought in 45 years. Do you still have the previous fighting power? This is a video. I will answer your questions with an objective attitude. First, explain China's new weapons do have less actual combat experience, but this does not mean that the PLA is weak in combat effectiveness. It doesn't mean that China's weapons and equipment are not good. In fact, we can analyze it from many aspects. Although many weapons, we ourselves have not used it in actual combat. But China exports hunters to Saudi Arabia, laser weapons and drones. Achieved remarkable results. For example, Saudi Arabia in an actual air defense battle. Using our country's laser cannons, 13 were successfully shot down. Houthi suicide drones in Yemen. The Saudi army has been in actual combat. Using a Chinese pterosaur drone, launched 1,000 missiles. Hit 900 of them. Destroy about 3,000 enemies, and the Saudi army was involved in these 1,000 attacks. No equipment or personnel were lost, including Chinese Snapdragon fighter jets imported from Pakistan. During the border standoff with India, Snapdragon fighter jets perform well in aerial combat, effectively maintained the security of Pakistan's airspace. These are all Chinese weapons. Real cases in actual combat, and these are just some sold in China. Not particularly advanced weapons. Weapons left in our own hands, including the latest 6th-generation fighter jets. Nature only gets stronger. Let's compare it with American and Russian weapons. First, let's talk about Russia. In the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, most of them are left over from the Soviet era. Many weapons and equipment are obviously flawed. Although the US weapons and equipment have defeated Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and other countries, but these adversaries are militarily weak. Small country, it can be said that Liao Mei belongs to the dimensionality reduction strike. This practical experience, 4 Chinese weapons of comparable strength, it's not very useful. And the US military's seemingly powerful aircraft carrier formation, there have indeed been a lot of oolongs recently. Otherwise, the Houthis would not be fighting. American aircraft carrier, show amazing fighting power. I don't know if the American combat effectiveness is good or not. In addition, military exercises also test the level of weapons, and an important means of military combat effectiveness. Don't think of drills as playing house. Military exercise, it can be proven to a certain extent, the strength of actual combat effectiveness. For example, 2 exercises in 2022, it fully demonstrates the strength of the Chinese Army. In August, the Chinese People's Liberation Army conducted joint military operations on Taiwan Island. Its sea, land, and air. The Rocket Force and the Strategic Support Force work together. Exercise subjects are close to actual combat. Fire test is accurate and powerful. Aircraft carrier formation. Build a strong maritime combat system. Participated in the Russian Orient 2022 exercise in September. The Chinese Army participated in the first tri-military joint cross-border exercise. Use of drones and other information means achieve efficient combat command. It also shows strong logistical support capabilities. Quickly adapt to and complete various combat missions. In an unfamiliar environment, let Russia's combat effectiveness against the People's Liberation Army. Impressed? Anyway, assess a country's weapons and combat capabilities. It can't just be limited to actual combat experience. Regional and cross-border exercises, as well as daily military training, can contribute to the weapon performance and the combat strength of the People's Liberation Army. Provide strong support. Besides, this is a technology war. Weapons and equipment only need buttons. Lock on the enemy target. We should, looking at the development of China's military power objectively. Avoid following the one-sided opinions of others. Deny the combat effectiveness of Chinese weapons. We are not arrogant. Don't underestimate yourself. It is not that we are afraid that China is not at war. Now, China has always been on the path of peace. If any country wants to attack China in vain, I believe that the Chinese army has sufficient strength, safeguard national sovereignty, and defeat all invaders.